Well, it has been a tough time for the biotech space, with the IBB and the XBI ETFs that track the sector largely underperforming the broader healthcare and the S&P 500 this year. Both those ETFs are down double digits from their recent highs. But Josh, you like the setup into next year, and I say that today as we see stocks, not all technically biotech, but Abbott Labs hitting an all-time high, Anthem hitting an all-time high, a couple other names like Zoetis hitting an all-time high. Do you still feel that confidence going into 2022?
Well, I think there's two things to like about the setup for large cap biotech. The first is they've done nothing this year, which is really rare. You have to really look hard to find a year with a double-digit rally for the overall stock market where the biotech sector wasn't leading. In this case, the sector was actually flat to down. So you've got a potential catch-up trade there. Technically, you also have the IBB ETF finding a bottom right at the May lows. So a double bottom and now a liftoff from that level. So if that should hold and the buyers came in here at the right time, I think that's a fairly bullish setup technically. The last part is I really don't think there's any kind of activity on drug prices next year. I know Biden talked about it. Every president talks about it, Republican and Democrat. They largely don't do anything, and that's never a good reason not to be invested in healthcare. So healthcare overall looks good. I think biotech looks even better. And in this particular ETF, IBB, about half the market cap is in the top 10 stocks, which are 10 of the best stocks in all of healthcare, period. So I definitely would be looking at that. I'm not in it yet, but I may pull the trigger soon.
Yeah, one of the stocks pushing it higher, actually, or creating some of the gains is Vertex, up 18% month to date. Jim, over to you. Are you sharing that confidence in biotech?
Yes, and I think the biggest factor, which Josh hit on, is price controls. The demise, at least for now, of the Build Back Better bill takes away the threat, for now, of price controls. Now, there's a body of investors out there who say that pharma and biotech would do a lot better if price controls were known, if we had the bill in place. I don't believe that at all. I think that as the Democrats try to focus on what their initiatives are going to be, that price controls are going to fall by the wayside, as frankly they have for about 25 years. And what you're going to find is there's a huge catch-up trade in biotech and pharma, a lot of which are really attractively priced with good demographic reasons to expect growth ahead.
Brenda, you and Merck, big news today for their antiviral pill. Also, Johnson & Johnson and Abbott. Still feeling that confidence in biotech and pharma?
Yes, and I would agree with everyone's earlier comments with Josh and Jim's comments regarding pricing, especially as we look to the midterm elections next year. We're likely to see Congress flip. But I would say, each of the names we own has its own unique story, in particular with Merck. The pill, honestly, is a little bit of a disappointment in terms of where it stands in the competitive landscape right now. But nevertheless, we think there's a big opportunity for the core business to really continue to recover there. But I think overall, if we look at opportunities within the market, there certainly are plenty of them within healthcare, and it certainly should be an area of continued growth.